This is a review of a booklet that I picked up at the Sasquatch Summit this past weekend. I hadn't even heard about this book. It's called Yale and the Strange Story of Jacko the Ape-Boy, written by Christopher L. Murphy in association with Barry Blunt, forward by Thomas Steenberg. This is essentially taking from written accounts the story of an unusual capture which occurred in 1884, even though one of the newspapers says 1882. But this booklet, it's a little less than 50 pages. This booklet, I'll just read you the back of the book. In July 1884, a major newspaper in British Columbia, Canada, featured a detailed article about the capture of a creature resembling both an ape and a young human boy along the railway line between the towns of Boston Bar and Yale, British Columbia. Nicknamed Jacko, the creature was taken to Yale and thereafter simply disappeared. The story remained buried for some 75 years. It was then resurrected by researchers in a quest to discover the truth behind sightings and other evidence of the existence of Sasquatch, ape-like creatures said to inhabit North American forests. Since then, the story has been told and retold in many books and magazines. Building upon the work of their predecessors, researchers Chris Murphy and Barry Blunt, both of British Columbia, undertook to re-examine the case in 2010. What is presented in this booklet examines the entire issue with revealing photographs of Yale and remnants of the 1880s. This work is a valuable resource for both historians and Sasquatch researchers. It is also an intriguing read for those who enjoy the unexplained. And essentially, the town of Yale back in those times was very, very wild. It was a very wild town. It made Tombstone, Arizona look like kindergarten class. You may notice the Sasquatch Summit logo on the front. But yeah, I imagine this is going to be made available to the general public. But it was debuted, I suppose, at the Sasquatch Summit. Only cost me $10. But it's a really interesting. It's an interesting book. I quickly read through it while I was on my way home from Seattle yesterday. There's several color photographs of different areas, especially near Yale, British Columbia. Right in here, or some where it was a trail. This is a trail above the beach that once formed the main road in Yale, British Columbia. Apparently, there's remains of a jail which Jacko was allegedly held in. Here's remains of one jail near Yale, and then here's another one near Yale. Now, Christopher Murphy, in his presentation during the Sasquatch Summit, mentioned that Yale was a very wild town, and that if they had brought something like this into the town itself, it wouldn't have lasted very long. So it's speculated that it was kept outside the town in a jail uh, away from the town, and that it was also taken to the machine shops, which were close to Yale. You can see right there the machine shops. These are the machine shops as they appeared in 1884. This is the area as it looks now. This is the area as it looks now. The machine shops are no longer there. Here's a photograph which was taken at that time near the railroad, or on the railroad. Actually, these are Chinese railway workers. And there's just all kinds of interesting information in here. Um, really nothing definitive, but Chris Murphy and Barry Blunt really did an excellent job in investigating this. There's one aspect of it where it was alleged that the creature that Jacko was captured and then died and was buried. Also, one that claimed that it was completely shaved bald. It's completely stripped of its hair, and it died after that. That I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is to either one of those stories. They are just stories at this point because it's been over 100 years. And Murphy makes the point. It's been 126 years. There are some who think, well, because the date said 1882 and the poem was published in 1884, maybe it was a hoax. A newspaper hoax, I should say. But who knows? Nobody really knows. Because the secret of Jacko has gone to the grave. There's also the examination of the possibility of Jojo the dog-faced boy having been Jacko. Jojo the dog-faced boy featured in the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. P.T. Barnum had Jojo as a sideshow exhibit. So, it's really interesting. It's an interesting booklet. It really is. It's got some really interesting accounts in it, including there's a map of British Columbia. Let's see, Harrison Hot Springs is somewhere in there. Okay, there, Harrison River and Hot Springs. Now this was from one of John Green's books. That's where they got this from. One of John Green's books. I believe it was probably On the Track of the Sasquatch, or possibly Year of the Sasquatch, aka Encounters with Bigfoot. But once this comes out in full, I do recommend getting it. It's really interesting. Those who are interested in a good mystery and something that not a whole lot of people know about, not a whole lot of people. I think Jacko has kind of become almost a forgotten story, and I think Murphy wants to try and bring those aspects out again about the Jacko story. So I would give this a 5 out of 5 stars. Really great stuff. I really enjoyed this booklet. I do recommend getting it. It's excellent.